Hey everyone, it's Amy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a love it or leave it review on two brand new mini little palettes that came out on the market last week that I was super excited about. And these are new palettes from Too Faced. We have the new Too Faced Matte Chocolate Bar Palette and we have the new Too Faced White Chocolate Bar Palette. And these I was really excited to get my hands on. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to swatch and everything. But first, I want to let you guys know, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you can stay up to date on my videos. But most importantly, if you're already subscribed, hit that little bell. That way you get notified of all my future videos, because I've been watching tons of tech videos about the new YouTube algorithm and how there's been tons of YouTube glitches lately where people just get unsubscribed from their subscriptions for no good reason. So by hitting that little notification bell, you will be notified via email whenever I upload. That way you don't have to scroll through the YouTube news feed or anything like that. You just get notified every time I upload in your email and you can stay most up to date with it. Now that you've gone ahead and hit that button, that way you're notified of all my future videos, let's go ahead and jump right into this love it or leave it review on these new little palettes. So first, let's go ahead and address the size right away. These palettes were not advertised to be the size of these bad boys. I did not have that in my head. That's what it was going to be. Including on Instagram, seeing the pictures, I knew they were going to be tiny, but yes, these are very, very tiny. They sit basically in the palm of your hand. They're a little bit bigger than like a business card, but they're basically the size of a hand or a little bit smaller. For me, that's not a big issue. I was expecting it to be small, very, very travel friendly and durable. So just know they are really tiny. They do have 11 eyeshadows in here total. There's 10 of this size right here, which are half a gram. And then the big one is 1.5. So the total is relatively small compared to the chocolate bar palette. Just to give you guys an idea, each of the 14 eyeshadows in here are 0.95 grams. So all of these in here are about double the size compared to this one. And they do retail for $26 in both of these palettes. The chocolate bar matte palette has more of a matte finish, opposed to the white chocolate palette. This one has more of a glossy finish since it does have metallic shades in here. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the Too Faced Matte Chocolate Chip Palette. So let me go ahead and read you some information from Too Faced website. Again, that's where it was exclusively sold. I haven't seen any other information of where it's going to next, but my guess is that eventually will be sold at Sephora Ulta. So it says the best-selling chocolate bar eyeshadow collection got a mini matte makeover. Chocolate Chip Matte features 11 of our iconic chocolate bar shades transformed in all matte finishes infused with our signature antioxidant rich cocoa powder and decadent chocolate scent. So yes, it still smells exactly like the original chocolate bar palette. The bite-sized palette is perfect for travel companion that allows you to indulge your beauty craving anywhere you go. So the whole point of this was it's supposed to be a mini little version of the original chocolate bar palette, but in a matte version and travel friendly. So what it means is, here is the original chocolate bar palette. All of your favorite cult favorite shades in here, all of them are in a matte version. So for example, Creme Brulee down here is kind of your golden pretty bronze metallic shade. And then now Creme Brulee is in here in like the same exact tone and shade, but in a matte version. So I think the concept is really cool that they basically took the chocolate bar palette and all your favorite shades that were metallic and put them in a matte version. So if you want all the tones and colors that are in this palette, now you have them in a matte version if that interests you. The only one that is identical, I did notice they put one that's in both palettes, and that is Triple Fudge. And that is this shade right here, which is a really dark brown. That shade's in the palette as well as it's a shade in here. So both are matte palettes. That is the only one that's a duplicate as far as the identical eyeshadow in both palettes. Everything else went from a metallic shade in the chocolate bar palette to a matte shade in the mini matte chocolate bar palette. So now let's go ahead and jump into swatching. I've already gone ahead and used like a little makeshift template I made with tape and did hand swatches for you, and then you will see live swatches of this entire palette for you, and I'll tell you about the shades, the colors, the finishes, and how well they build. Okay, so for our swatches, I am going to show you guys one swipe or one application first, and then I will go in with a second and a third to show you guys how these colors really truly build up to give you a realistic expectation of applying them on your lid. So this first shade is White Chocolate, which is again a matte cream like you're going to see in the White Chocolate palette, but this one has more of a yellow undertone, and this is a really, really great base for any kind of eyeshadow to help anything blend or to just set your primer. This next next shade is called Malted Gilded Ganache, and I love this one. This one is probably my favorite shade in the palette because it is such a gorgeous matte olive green. It's very pigmented, but you do have to build it up a second time for it to look really nice. This was one of the shades along with this next brown shade called Triple Fudge that I told you guys has a little bit more of a kind of grittier texture to it, not quite as silky and smooth. So it does take a little bit longer to build up, but once it's built up, it's really, really opaque and nice and very easy to blend out. Now this next shade is probably the weakest in the palette. This one is called Matte Marzipan. Doesn't sound delicious, but this one is a light peach brown. And although you can build it up, it's very, very light. So anyone with a darker than light skin tone, I don't know if it's going to show up because I kind of have a light skin tone at this point and it's still barely showing up. And so it may be a struggle for some, but this next shade is my favorite in the palette. And this one is called Semi Sweet. And it's the perfect medium brown. It's beautiful. It's pigmented. It blends out effortlessly. It's wonderful. This next shade is called Strawberry Bonbon. Again, this might be a shade that's not going to show up on everyone, but it's a beautiful shade. This is a perfect light pink color to do kind of a cut crease with if you're going for those look around the holidays. This just kind of lightens up your eyelids. It's a really, really pretty shade. Now this next part, I'm sorry, it goes out of focus for a second. When I'm applying it, I forgot to move the little zoom focus over. But this next shade is called Malted Candied Violet. I love this shade. It's probably the second weakest in the palette, being that it's a little bit patchy the first time you apply it, but by the second or third it gets better, but still not quite as strong as the other shades in the palette, but still good, still workable, but probably the second weakest in the palette, but such a pretty color. Next three are seriously some of my favorites in the palettes because they are so rich and creamy and buttery, and just look at the pigmentation. It's amazing. So this one is called Matte Hazelnut, and this one is kind of a darker version of that semi-sweet shade, a little bit warmer tone as well. Such a beautiful rich color. This one is probably one of my favorites as well. This one is called Matte Creme Brulee, not just because creme brulee is one of my favorite desserts, but because it's just a perfect camel brown color. I love it. Great for the crease or great for an all over lid color. Now this next shade was again another one that was a little bit of that drier kind of gritty texture, but you can see it goes on patchy at first, but you keep blending it out and it becomes really, really opaque by that second application. It's just absolutely stunning. I've been using this color nonstop, surprisingly, because I normally don't like super warm tones, but I love the shade, and look how pigmented it was on the second application. It's wonderful. Then this last shade in the palette is called Matte Champagne Truffle, and this one's very, very similar to that first shade, but it's got more of a cream undertone. Again, this is the last shade in the palette that I think will not show up necessarily on all skin tones, but it does build really well. Again, a great base color or a brow bone highlight. All right, so those were all the swatches. I hope you guys enjoyed the new way that I'm going to be swatching palettes. I thought you guys might enjoy seeing live swatches. I think it's really important to see how does it swatch one when you use it with a brush the first time, and how well does it build? Because most of the time, any typical eyeshadow, you are going to be building it up on the eye. So it's important that it does build up nicely and look as pigmented as nice as the swatch does. That's really important. And for the most part, all of these shades really, really do that. There's only 3 shades in this palette that I'm not as crazy about, that I think the formula is not quite as nice as the other shades in this palette that are similar to the chocolate bar. They aren't as soft and buttery and smooth. So those shades are Matte Cherry Cordial. That one is kind of your burgundy red shade. And then Triple Fudge. All of these have a little bit of a grittier formula, so they don't feel as smooth. They feel a little bit gritty and a little bit scratchy. I don't find it a huge problem once I apply them, but when you are touching them, they do feel a little bit different and not quite the same formula as this palette and the chocolate bar palette. I did use multiple colors for the eye look that I have on right now using both these palettes. So I use these 2 shades right here, Matte Hazelnut and Matte Creme Brulee in the crease. And then in the outer V and the crease to deepen it up, I used Triple Fudge and Matte Cherry Cordial. These do look really nice on the eyes and blend out really well, and they build up really well, as you could see by the swatches. The only thing I will say is make sure you definitely use an eye primer with these. Otherwise, they start to fade after about 6 hours, and they start to get really muddled together and diffused, and you can't really see any definition or tell what colors you used anymore. They just kind of all start to fade and look like one color. Now, if you use an eyeshadow base, it definitely helps preserve wherever you put the colors and to create more of a defined look and not get all muddled together. So I definitely would recommend using an eyeshadow base with this palette. So now let's move on to the Too Faced White Chocolate Chip palette, and then I will give you guys my overall thoughts on both of these palettes. So you open it up, and here's what the palette looks like. It is a very, very light, cool tone. Like I said with the Too Faced Matte Chocolate Chip palette, I do think this one is going to suit, for the most part in this palette, a lot of different skin tones, and people aren't going to have huge issues with it. I do think that this one, on the other hand, is really meant for people with those fair and light skin tones. These colors will show up on you, but anyone past that light to medium and then medium deep, you're starting to get on the verge of most of these colors I don't think are going to show up as far as the matte shades. Obviously, the black shade will, but like these right here are all really, really light, and I think they're going to be great for lighter skin tones, but they're going to either not show up or they're going to look ashy for those medium and deeper skin tones. So unfortunately, I don't foresee that this palette working for everyone unless you only want it for those metallic shades, because I do think the metallic shades are really nice. So let's go ahead and jump right into the swatches. Again, you're going to see the swatch that's already done, and then we will do live swatches with a brush. Okay, you guys, so for the first shade, this one is called Glaze, and I would describe this one as a matte cream, and it looks really nice and pigmented the first time you apply it, but you can see by the second or third time that I'm applying it with the brush, it looks really opaque, and this makes a really great base to set your primer as well as a brow bone highlight. So the next shade is called Ambrosia. I love this one. This is a really great matte in the palette. This one I would describe as a light peachy flesh color, and this one builds really well. This next shade is one of the best metallic shades in the palette, and this one is Exotica, which I would describe as a peachy champagne, and you can see with just that one swatch, it looks really, really nice and opaque. And then the best eyeshadow in this palette is definitely this one, which is Pearl Candy, and this is a pearl white metallic shade. It is just really, really opaque and metallic in a beautiful, beautiful shade. Then the next one is probably the worst one in the palette. This one is Raspberry Rose, and this one is a light pink metallic, and it just does not build up very well, and it's pretty sheer and definitely has the least pigmentation as far as the metallics in the palette. Then this next one is the one I'm wearing in the video that I absolutely love, and this one is called Indulge, and this to me is a true champagne metallic shade, and it builds up so nicely on its own without any primer, without any help, but on top of a glitter glue, it just looks absolutely stunning, as it does with all the other metallic shades in the palette besides Raspberry Rose. That one just is better off as a topper or an inner corner highlight. It's just not very strong by itself. So then this next one, or at least the next three, are going to be those weaker matte shadows I was talking about in the palette that definitely are not going to work on all skin tones, and they just take a lot of extra effort to build, and they're just a little bit subdued and muted and not the best shade. So the first one is called Guilt Free, and this is a taupe matte. I do like this one. It kind of goes in the order. I like the taupe one, then I like the peach one next, and then I like the brown shade. So this one is called Cake Batter, and I would describe this one as a light peachy brown. Again, it takes quite a bit of effort to build up, and it's definitely not going to show up on medium or darker skin tones. Then this next shade, even though it's matte, it does have some micro glitter in it, and this one is called Cookie Dough, and this one is a light brown with gold micro glitter in it. Even though those micro glitters don't show up a ton on the skin, they do just add a little bit of iridescence when you apply it. It's really pretty. You can apply it in the crease or as like an all over eyeshadow base as well. Then this is the last metallic shade, and this one is called Sugared Raisin, and this is a light purple metallic. It's very similar to Indulge at the beginning, where it builds up very, very nicely and looks incredible with glitter glue. And then this last shade is Black Sugar, which is a black with micro glitter. Okay, so those were all the swatches. As you can see, the metallic shades in here are awesome. All of them. This one right here, which is Exotica, this one is Indulge, Sugared Raisin, and Pearl Candy are amazing. The only kind of metallic sheen finish that I don't think is great is Raspberry Rose. I think this one has to be built up a lot, and even then just does not compare to the other shades. But I think the metallic shades in here are really, really excellent. I have it on my eyes right now. I think it's beautiful, but just be aware, these are a very glittery, chunky formula. They're not going to be like a smooth foiled eyeshadow. They're very, very chunky. So because of that, I think they're best applied with a glitter glue. If I apply them on the eye, you have to tap off a ton of product. Otherwise, there will be tons and tons of fallout. Then really, really build them up. They are buildable without anything though, without a base or without a glitter glue or a MAC Fix Plus or anything. I do think a glitter glue is preferred with these metallic shades over a MAC Fix Plus just because of their texture and their chunkiness. It's nice to lay down a little layer of glitter glue, go in with a flat shader brush and pat down some color that you have a nice little base, and then you can go in with that flat shader brush, pick up more product and really smooth it out and build it up really easily. That's exactly what I did with this look right here, and you can see how foiled it is, and I had no fallout. That's definitely the easiest way. Also, I will say these really do kick up and pill up in the pan. Normally when a powder product or a matte product does that, you just blow it away, you get over it, you lose the excess. But with these, because they kind of pill up, don't lose that excess. Definitely go back in. You can pick it up with your brush because it's a little chunkier and you can get that excess. Don't get rid of it. It's definitely usable. So I just wanted to mention that as well. As far as the matte shades, I think they're pretty underwhelming. There's nothing special about them. I don't think you can really create a full look with this palette. Although they do say they give you a nice dark black shade, I honestly, personally for me, don't know how often I'm going to use a black shadow that has micro glitter in purple, blue, silver, and green in here in my crease to create an eye look. I already don't use black a ton to begin with, much less when it has micro glitter, but I do think it is very pigmented and it does work really well. But that being said, I think they would have been better off creating a darker cool tone shade like this or a darker cool tone brown to kind of complete this palette. That way you could create a whole look from start to finish with some of these lighter shades as your transition and then have these two right here as your darker crease colors. But unfortunately they didn't. Let me compare really quickly the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette for you guys to the white chocolate palette because I just want you guys to see that there is nothing identical. They are just both cool tone palettes. You do get more metallic shades in the white chocolate palette. The only shades that I thought were a little similar was this shade right here, which is Guilt Free, to some of the taupey or mauve shades in here, but they're not identical. I did swatch all three of them, this one, and this one, compared to Guilt Free, and they do not look identical. So overall with these palettes, I do think they're pretty underwhelming. There's nothing special about them. I don't think they're like the best brand new eyeshadow on the market or something totally different we've never seen from Too Faced. I think they're very much in Too Faced comfort zone, and kind of colors and shades we've seen before are very similar, at least, and similar concepts. However, I do think it is a cool concept that they took the Too Faced iconic chocolate bar palette and they took all your favorite metallic shades in there and gave you the same exact colors but in a matte shade. Because one, that's cool if you're not a shiny metallic person and you wanted matte shades, but it's also a cool concept if you wanted to combine those shades together and put the matte in the crease and put the shimmer on the eyelid, and you know those colors are going to work well together. I do think the concept is really cool. However, this does look very similar to, you know, colors you would find elsewhere. So same thing with this. I think that the metallic shades are what makes this palette worth it, but I think you could find those metallic shades elsewhere probably. It's not like these are colors we've never seen before. But they are colors that I'm always attracted to, which is why I like the palette. Overall, I'm going to give the Too Faced Matte Chocolate Chip Palette a love it because I think overall the quality is really good. The pigmentation's good. Despite the three that I said to touch are a little bit more gritty and not as smooth and silky, they are still pigmented. They still blend really well. They still build up really nicely. I think if you like these colors and you want matte shades, this is a good palette. It's travel friendly. It's cute. I really do love this one. As far as the Too Faced White Chocolate Palette, I'm going to give this one a like it. And the reason being, I do really like the metallic shades in here. You do have to use another product with it, being Too Faced Glitter Glue. That's what I found worked with it really well to give you this kind of look right here. Not a big deal for me. I had it in my collection, but I do think it best performs with a glitter glue, which is another product you would need. As far as the matte shades go, I think they're pretty underwhelming. I don't think there's anything special. I don't think they're going to work for everyone. And I don't think that they're the most amazing colors ever. They don't pop. They don't do anything too crazy. So I don't think overall this one is a love it because of that. I don't think consistency-wise, everything in here is amazing. But I do think the metallic shades are great. I do like these and would recommend them to you if you are interested. The only thing I would say is I would not recommend breaking your back trying to get these palettes when they do release again. I would not stay up all night trying to get these palettes. I don't think they're that amazing or like earth-shattering new palettes that everyone needs. So I wouldn't do that. I also would not break the bank over getting these. But I do think they would make great gifts, great stocking stuffers, great gifts to friends if you're younger in high school, college, and you want to give gifts to your friends. I think these are a good little gift. But like I said, don't go crazy trying to get these palettes. I don't think they're worth that hype. So I hope you guys found my review and swatches helpful to make your decision in the upcoming weeks whether or not you want this palette. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!